stretching can cause hypertrophy as well, right? Like stretching, there is a lot of like research showing, and it makes sense like physiologically, because like you're basically, like stretching the muscle, and they're like passive, like there is a molecule called titin within the muscle, and you're like, when you stretch it, it provides passive tension, just like our like, like myosin actin, maybe someone like heard in biology or something. They are producing the active force. Our muscles are also producing force passively, and that passive tension then is detected by some receptors in our muscles, and it causes the muscle to get longer, actually. So hypertrophy itself would be like the muscle get bigger like this, right? And this specific hypertrophy caused by stretching, sometimes called sarcomerogenesis, is like muscles getting longer. So like it's getting longer. So like that's the adaptation, and that's why many studies show that after program consisting of stretches, for example, like with calf or something, right? They're doing stretches, and their like muscle volume is increasing after the period of, let's say, 6 weeks of training, which is pretty interesting. And stretching is a powerful tool in general. I would recommend that to many people.
But is that why you often hear people talk about doing full range of motion in an exercise? Because at the elongated part, you stretch the muscle before you contract it?
Very valid, like very good connection of points. Yeah. So the topic itself is a bit more complicated, and I'm also like not a physiologist, right? So all these topics I kind of like that are not the like strictly the area of my expertise. I'm making a disclaimer that I'm kind of like talking, from my knowledge, which could be, like there is more complexity to it. But basically, like this passive tension that I mentioned to you is exactly why, for example, we are able to lift more weight when lowering down than when lifting, right? There is gravity, like you have to like overcome inertia, for example, when lifting dumbbell up. So there is like physical aspect. But even without that, even without like gravity, even like our muscles when elongating, they're much stronger than when contracting. And the reason for that is that these passive forces work when elongating. So imagine, apart from our cross bridges, which are producing this active tension, right? We also have the passive tension, like this molecule titin, but also like there are some other structures that cause passive tension likely, but titin is the main one. It's a string that kind of like unravels as you pull the muscle. And when that muscle is active and you do it, it's even stronger effect than when passively doing it, right? Because like of some, calcium ions related things. So when you do like eccentric, that's going to provide more passive tension. And that's why after eccentric, you will see in data many times more of the like this lengthening of the muscle. And the same thing happens at the end of the stretch. And so when you do exercise and you're coming to the end of the range of motion, you will experience passive tension, and that passive tension will create more of the growth than it would if you would not come to full range of motion. So like if you're doing that, yeah. The caveat to that is that some people, or like some scientific commentators are mentioning that it doesn't work for every single muscle, that some muscles are not long enough, like they sarcomeres are just like too long, so that there is no way that even like by stretching you will develop that tension. But yes, that's why full range of motion is causing more hypertrophy many times than not full range of motion. Very like well spotted on your part here, because it's the same exact mechanism.